Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. Manchester City fans' worst fears. Oh, they've come true. International break. It's done it again. Injuries galore. Half of our defence is missing. What are we going to do? We've got Arsenal coming up at the weekend. Time to hit the big red panic button. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We're going to have to change everything. Pep Guardiola, you've got your work cut out for you. And you did warn us. You did tell Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland was recently quoted joking that Pep Guardiola said that he'll come after us if we come back injured. Well, Pep's going to be on the bloody warpath then, isn't he? He's going to be cracking some skulls in that training camp. Manchester City players, you better watch out. I'd stay away from Pep because he's going to be destroying some people if the reports are to be believed, if the actions on the pitch, certain players walking off at certain stages of the game are to be believed, because a lot of Arsenal fans have been bemoaning the fact that these City players are walking off, they're playing games, mind games, getting into the heads of the Arsenal players. Mikel Arteta, what's he going to do now? He's got his work cut out for him, whether it's a full-strength City squad or even including these injuries, he's still going to have his work cut out for him. But the fact is, whether it's true or not, is there a little bit of sneaky shenanigans going on here? Mind games, players resting. Arsenal fans have definitely been moaning about it, but ignoring the fact that Gabriel pulled out of the Brazil squad, Saka pulled out of the England squad before a ball was even kicked in the international break. So if we're doing it, they're doing it. So let's call it fair, as it is. Call it for what it is. Call a spade a spade. But Manchester City, we do have potential concerns. The fact is, the right side of our defence, if rumours are to be believed and the reports are to be believed and the severity of these injuries is yet to be worked out, we're in big trouble. We are in big trouble because the right side of our defence, gone. It's just gone. What are we going to do? And with reports that Martinelli is supposed to be back for Arsenal on that left-hand side, the speed and quality, the agility, the skills that player has on offer, it's going to be a difficult task. And I am going to provide a worst case scenario, so stick around till the end of the video for that one, because I'm going to highlight the potential starting 11 if all of these players that City are rumoured to be injured are injured. I'm going to provide a starting 11 that would still have a lot less chance compared to a full fit squad, of course, but still have a decent chance of putting up a fight and coming away with all 3 points at the Etihad against Arsenal. I will be doing a proper preview before the game, of course, so come and join me for that, as well as a watch-along on Sunday. Come and join me for that. It's going to be a feisty one. Really excited. But let's go through the players that are injured through the international break. What a waste of time. What an annoying waste of time international break has become. All it's done is just not really taught us anything, in terms of England anyway. We haven't really learned anything. It's given content creators the ability to go, Southgate out, as if that's anything new. Geniuses coming up with ideas like that about Southgate out. No, really, I mean, are the FA actually going to sack Southgate this close to a tournament? Come on, boys, let's think about it reasonably. You might want him out, but he ain't going anywhere until after this Euro, so get used to Southgate being in the dugout, of England's dugout, that is. I mean, yeah, makes no sense to me calling him out for now. You might as well let him crack on because we're that close to a tournament. Anyway, whether rumours are to be believed, though, starting with the first player that concerns me, Kyle Walker. Now, immediately, the reports are suggesting that he should be okay. So, problem's pretty much solved. If just one of these players that I'm about to list, out of the 3 defenders that are missing from Manchester City's, or reportedly missing from Manchester City's next starting 11 against Arsenal, then just one of them being okay will fix the problem, in truth. We will be able to field a strong team regardless. I think there's going to be one player that is dubious for me that I do have genuine concerns about. Kyle Walker, though, is not one of them. Now, he was subbed off in the 20th minute against Brazil, holding his hamstring. He was seen walking pretty comfortably after the game. And the reports, like I've said, are suggesting that he should be fine. He should be fine. Hopefully, that is going to be proven to be the case. Fingers crossed on that one, because Kyle Walker going up against Martinelli and the speed that Martinelli's got, much more comfortable. Next player, Manuel Akanji, picked up a knock versus Belgium. There is no word on the injury length of that one. The fact that it's a knock would suggest to me that that's like, okay, you've got 5 days left to go, and more than that in total. When he actually picked up the injury, he got nearly a full week's worth of rest before the Arsenal game now, which suggests to me, depending on the severity, knocks can be serious. They can be, but very rarely are, to be honest. They normally keep you out for 3 or 4 days or so. And he's pulled out of the Switzerland squad during that game against Belgium as well. So I like to think he'll be okay as well, which again is great news. But don't forget, I'm going to provide a worst case scenario because there is a potential that this is actually true. We have to take the reports as what they are, and they're saying that Walker's injured, they're saying Akanji's injured. John Stones is the next one. This is the one that genuinely concerns me more than any others, because not only the importance of him, it was the fact that he visibly extended his leg when he went off injured in the 8th minute against Belgium the other night. He visibly extended his leg and it looked awkward. He was like a little bit of a slip, a miscontrol that gave Lukaku the ball. He slipped and his right leg just sort of popped out a little bit and it sort of looked like a jarring jolt to the inside of his groin, and he held it. He too was seen walking off the pitch and walking down the dugout in the tunnels. Walking okay, but he did pick up an injury, 2 groin injuries in 2019, so this won't be the first time he's injured his groin. That kept him out for a good third of the season when that happened as well. So that would be a nightmare scenario. A genuine injury, a groin injury to John Stones where he's out for that length of time would be a season ender for him, certainly. And a potential season ender for Manchester City, because, I mean, the vital importance that he showed last season in our treble-winning campaign, pushing into that midfield in that last third of the season, he was immense. He was incredible. He scored at Anfield. He's showing his importance now at both ends of the pitch, just like Rodri does. Put them into defensive midfielders, double pivots. Rodri and John Stones, it's like, oh, yes, I feel safe. And the opposition have got a massive blue barricade to get past, but you remove one of them, You got questions in there now. It's a little bit vulnerable. Kovacic in there. The amount of times he's been dribbled past, he's been fantastic this season. So far, in particular, in the last 6 or 7 games that I've seen him play, Kovacic has been fantastic at controlling the game. But go and check out his dribbled past stats this season. Almost every game. Almost every game he gets dribbled past. So defending is not his strong point, Kovacic. And asking him to play alongside Rodri, I'm not convinced that's the answer to the rest of our season, and certainly gathering trophies as a process. Not convinced. But Manuel Sanchez on Twitter, a reporter suggested got a quote from John Stones saying, "I'm not sure yet." That's John Stones' quote. I imagine the question was, how severe is that injury, John? I'm not sure yet. So you make of that what you will. Could mean anything. Could mean anything, that. The other player, which, to be honest, wouldn't have started, let's have it right, I don't think he'd have started in the Manchester City starting 11 against Arsenal, is Matheus Nunes. Scored a lovely goal against Sweden in their 5-2 win for Portugal. A foot injury. No word on a return, though. Would he have even started against Arsenal? Probably not, let's be honest. Good news, though. There are some good news injury reports coming out of the media. Jack Grealish, seen training during this week. Kevin De Bruyne, Arsenal's worst nightmare, Arsenal's kryptonite. Oh, he lives rent-free in the minds of every single Arsenal fan, to the point where they throw bottles at him and he can just, missed me. Those clowns that throwed all those objects at Kevin De Bruyne, he laughed walking off that pitch as not a single missile hit him, because he's a godlike figure, and it's just like, Matrix. You can't hit Kevin De Bruyne. Arsenal fans, what are you thinking, mate? Kevin De Bruyne, he's fit. Could he be playing against Arsenal? Could he be doing the damage that he did to them last season with that lovely chip into an empty net after a horrible back pass from Tomiyasu, and then at the Etihad, a lovely link-up play with Erling Haaland, then drilling one past Ramsdale into that bottom corner to give Manchester City the lead at the Etihad? Let's remind them of what these players are capable of, because they're getting cocky, Arsenal fans. Let's put them in their place in this game. With Kevin De Bruyne in the pitch, I have every belief that we can. We can put them in their place and remind them who the big dogs in the Premier League actually are. Bernardo Silva, Ruben Diaz, also released early from the Portugal squads. Great news. Rumours are that Ederson could be back. And Pep said before, even in the international break, that it's not really a rumour in truth, that Ederson is getting better. Hopefully he'll be ready after the international break. Simple as that. I'm not that bothered if Ortega started, to be honest. I'd like to test Ortega, in a big game like this. The distribution of Ortega is my concern. Between the two goalkeepers, I would pick Ederson because of what he brings to the team offensively. Defensively, and typical goalkeeping attributes, Ortega's the better of the two, in truth. Shot stopping, catching, dominating from corners, catching the ball, punching, gathering the ball. Things like goalkeepers are expected to do. Ortega's the better one. But distribution, Ortega, there's no one in the world like him. So it's, I don't know, really. I'm not too fussed either way, really. I would like, from a personal point of view, I'd like to see Ortega play. I would like to see more of him and get used to him in the City team, see what he can do, give him 3 or 4 games in a row. If he's fit, though, Ederson, he's probably going straight back in, let's be honest. Right, now, my potential starting 11 for Manchester City, and this is factoring in a worst-case scenario. If Arsenal and Manchester City, the reports are true that all 4 players, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Manuel Akanji, and Matheus Nunes, are all out. So let's look for a solution, an alternative starting 11, if that right side of our defence is completely gone. So, sticking with the goalkeeper, and Edison as well. Let's say Edison's out as well, so I'm going to put Ortega out as well. This is a worst-case scenario starting 11, which I don't think is going to be too bad, but it's kind of what we're stuck with, really. You've got to factor in the opposition as well, and players playing in certain areas of the pitch, Guardiola left-back or Nathan Ake left-back, you're going up against probably, very, very likely Saka. We've seen what Nathan Ake can do against Saka. He pocketed him in the Cup last season at the Etihad, absolutely pocketed him to the point where it was like, get out of my pocket, mate, you're boring me, Saka. Nathan Ake just pocketed him. Will he be able to do that? Guardiola at left back, Nathan Ake at left back. Guardiola's not really played very few minutes as an out-and-out centre-back for Manchester City, but he may have to in this game. Alternatively, you play him at left back against Saka. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what to do here, to be honest. Personally, I would rather see Nathan Ake look after Saka. I have that one-on-one situation fills me with more confidence with Nathan Ake over there than it does with Guardiola over there. So I am going to go with Nathan Ake on the left, and then I'm going to go with Josko Gvardiol in the middle with Ruben Diaz, and now we've got the problem side of the pitch, of which it could have been John Stones playing right back, it could have been Manuel Akanji playing right back, it could have been Kyle Walker playing right back. All 3 right-footed centre-backs and full-backs are finished, they're out. Let's say they are, at least, for this worst-case scenario situation at least. In which case, all that leaves is Rico Lewis. There is no other option other than Rico Lewis, which gives us a little bit of versatility, a little bit, not quite to the extent of John Stones and Manuel Akanji. Kyle Walker's been pushing forward a little bit this season. Could Rico Lewis do that? I think he's probably a little bit better at inverting, to be honest, in that inverted fullback role, because there is the problem of with possession and out of possession with Manchester City, isn't there? The rest of the team starts to pick itself, and going forward, I don't think there's too much to worry about. The forward players are, they're all fit and ready. The only concern for me is Erling Haaland hasn't scored a goal in 4 games. I can't remember the last time he went 4 games without a goal. If you factor in the 2 international breaks, the Newcastle game, the Liverpool game, he hasn't scored in a while. That could be a bad omen for Arsenal, to be honest, because whenever he goes on a long spell without scoring, he normally crops up with a goal at some point in that run, and that run very rarely gets beyond 4 games. I can't remember ever, since he's joined Manchester City, going 4 games without a goal. He may have done it last season. Get in the comments and tell me if I'm wrong on that one. I can't remember another spell where he's gone longer than 4 games, which means Erling Haaland goal incoming, loading, Erling Haaland goal. Look forward to that. On the left-hand side is going to be interesting as well, because if the reports are that Jack Grealish is fit, you're going to throw him straight into the deep end. I thought Jeremy Doku did all right against England, a little bit of quality here and there. He got a shot away that forced a save from Pickford. Not a bad performance from Doku. He looked like a bright spark in their front 3. I really believe that. Jack Grealish hasn't had many minutes. He's barely had any time to play. Is he match fit? And when you say match fit, there's Premier League match fit, and then there's, title challenging Premier League match against Arsenal match fit. 2 different levels of match fit for me, because the energy, the emotion that's involved in that game. Is he ready? Is he ready to be thrown in at the deep end? I'm going to say yeah. And let's play Jack Grealish. I'm going to put him on the left instead of Doku, which is a little bit harsh on Doku, but just going off last season, the Jack Grealish has got Arsenal's number as well. He scored against them last season as well. Let's not forget this stage of the season. Last season, Jack Grealish came into his own, but we're doing that a little bit too often as City fans, comparing this season to last season. They're nothing alike, in truth. Let's be honest. we keep doing it. It's a bad habit. Me included, it's a bad habit. Now, in the middle, I'm going to go with Kevin De Bruyne, also seen training, should be fit. Alongside him, I'm going to go with Phil Foden, and I'm going to go with Bernardo Silva on the right and Erling Haaland up top. Now, what we do with Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden is going to be interesting, because you're going up against the scumbag Ben White. He's a little piece of shit, isn't he? Bit of a twat. Yeah, let's have it right, kicking off on Phil Foden last season when they lost at the Etihad. refusing to play for England for whatever reason. He seems like a bit of a shit, doesn't he? Just a bit of a shit, and he's got a problem with Phil Foden for some reason. Those two seem to not like each other very much, or maybe it's a one-way street, to be honest. I don't see Phil Foden kicking off. Ben White seems to be pushing him in the back to the point where Erling Haaland, like a big brother, comes along and defends Phil Foden. But yeah, Phil Foden on the right, I'm not sure. I think more suited for Bernardo Silva, but it depends on the system that goes on behind them as well, doesn't it? Because with the ball, I'd like to see Rodri pushing forward a little bit like that and Rico Lewis inverting. But what's unnatural now, if you look at this back three, is you're suddenly left with Josko Gvardiol as the centre-back of what would normally be a Ruben Diaz situation. So what's the alternative? You want a left-footed centre-back going there? Get that out of the way. Do you want Ruben Diaz in the middle? Josko Gvardiol as a right back? That doesn't fill me with confidence. There's a reason Pep plays a right-footed sided player on the right side of his defence and left-footed players on the left, because it's organic. The build-up play is organic. When he rolls it out, the natural body language is to receive it on your stronger foot and away you go. Play it down the line or play it inside with your stronger foot. The instinct for a defender who was on the right side with a left foot is going to come inside the wrong way. It's going to be the wrong body language, the wrong organic setup to receive the ball. You've got to face the right way, and it's really, really important part of our build-up play. And playing Josko Gvardiol, who is the best out of those three in that back line, he's the best ball carrier. He's the best, most trusted on the ball, I would say. Do you then want to trust him defensively, though, against Kai Havertz? Another example of Arsenal fans not having a clue what they're talking about. Kai Havertz is frequently finding the back of the net now. Let's have it right. He's scoring goals. They were calling in for him to be out of that squad. The second they signed him, they hated him. Why have we signed him? Why have we signed him? And now he's scoring goals, big goals, important goals, match-winning goals. Kai Havertz is turning up. He scored in the international break. Do you want Kai Havertz, who is incredible in the air, to go against Josko Gvardiol? Is that what you want? That doesn't fill me with confidence either. So this situation is problematic. Ruben Diaz is that right side of the three as well. That doesn't fill me with confidence because he is a better aerial duel player. He'll be better at dealing with Kai Havertz, who's so lethal in the air. Ruben Diaz can do that. He can combat that. He'll be able to stop that threat from Arsenal. But then you've got potentially Martinelli going up against Gvardiol on the other side if you go back. So it's like, pick your poison. I don't know what to do with this system. Now, let's have it right. One player out of the three right-sided defenders of Manchester City are okay. Let's say one of them is okay. Everything goes back to normal for me. And I think there are multiple options start to present themselves. I think it would start to look something more like this if Kyle Walker was fit. If Kyle Walker was fit, it would start to look a bit more like that. I think you'd probably then see Foden swapping with Bernardo Silva a little bit and potentially have Bernardo Silva dropping a little bit deeper to help Rodri and collect that ball. Phil Foden tucking inside. And then you'd see what we've seen in the first half of the season of Kyle Walker. But you've still got that same problem at the back. That same problem that I was talking about at the back with Gvardiol and Ruben Diaz. We've seen that this season, this team, the front six at least, front seven at least. We've seen that this season already. At the back, we've not had two left-sided players playing there with Ruben Diaz as well. So that would be interesting. Alternatively, you take, say, Kyle Walker's not fit, John Stones, which is the best case scenario, really. You'd put John Stones into that midfield, and that would probably allow Ruben Diaz to stay. It would probably have to stay as it was, actually, thinking about it. And John Stones would tuck in, without the ball, John Stones would tuck in at right back, and do what we saw a little bit in the Inter Milan game in the Champions League final. So that's without the ball, would be John Stones there. Same for Manuel Akanji. The same exact situation for Manuel Akanji, but John Stones pushing into midfield when we do have the ball. But you've still got that problem of who do you want to play as the central centre-back of the back three. Concerns. There is concerns for Manchester City now because of that bloody international break. It's absolutely done us. It is done us. And whether the reports are to be believed, I personally think Kyle Walker is going to be okay. John Stones is the only concern for me. I have a feeling Manuel Akanji should be okay as well, which again gives Pep more options. But Blues, what do you think about these injury concerns? Do you believe them? Do you think the worst case scenario is coming true and we've lost the right side of our defence, basically, and we're going to have to trust the young lad, as quality as he is, as promising as he is, Rico Lewis, in a title challenging game against Arsenal? It's a big risk. It's a big risk. Get your comments and thoughts in the comment sections below. I want to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up silver.